Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed is a spiritual crossing of the threshold to the world of being a truly expanded human being. Join mediums Cheryl and Kelley for conversations about discovering deep spirituality, developing your intuitive and empathic skills, and personal mediumship. Each episode will focus on tips, tools, and techniques to help you understand and expand your own inner gifts of life journey. Now, your host of Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed, Kelley and Cheryl.
Good afternoon, everyone. We hope you are having a warm, wonderful Wednesday. Welcome to Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed. We want to thank WLTKDB, and I want to say always as we begin our program, hello to my colleague, Kelley Eckhardt. Hi, Kelley.
Hi, Cheryl. I'm so excited. I love this day every week.
Yeah, this is a great day. It's a great show we have. We have special guests sometimes, everyone. And today we're going to be talking about trusting your intuition. If you have any questions, you can always type them in the comments section or send us an email question to questions@seeingbeyondradio.com. You can also join our mailing list at seeingbeyondradio.com, and we'll always let you know what upcoming show we're doing. But today, on today's show, we're going to be talking about trusting your intuition. And what is intuition and how can you trust it? So if you have questions, if you have any ideas that you'd like to share or what you're struggling with, what keeps you from trusting your intuition, we'd love to hear from you. So we want to welcome everyone to the show today. And let's begin just by acknowledging, like, what is intuition and why are people sometimes having a hard time trusting it?
Yeah, and I just want to say, like our intuition is when, and I get like I'm talking to friends about this all the time, they have this gut feeling that like they shouldn't do something, or maybe they shouldn't go to this event, or they shouldn't get on this plane. Like that's your intuition kicking in. You got to figure out, why is it kicking in like that? And should you listen?
Intuition, I always want to share with people, when I think of intuition, I am not really thinking of the analytical brain. I'm thinking of the little voice perhaps that comes in before the thought. It's the intuitive voice, not a thought. And once you go into thinking, that's not your intuition anymore. That's you using your idea. And trusting your gut. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, how many times, I don't know about you guys, but how many times you've been on the freeway and you hear all of a sudden just like a voice in your head that says, change lanes, slow down. And you get about a mile up and there's a car accident and there's police everywhere. Like there's, and I don't know about you guys, but I listened to that voice. And the 3 times I have not listened to that voice, I also got a speeding ticket because I was speeding and it said, slow down.
That's what I have found out too, is if you don't listen to your intuition and you do the opposite, it doesn't always work out in your favor.
No, it doesn't. And it isn't always something that's logical or analytical. Like if you like to analyze a situation and overthink it, but your gut's telling you to do something that just doesn't, you're like, this is like not logical. This doesn't make sense. But that's your gut. Sometimes that's more accurate than the logical side, believe it or not.
That is so true. Your intuition, it's like your higher self talking. It's that higher aspect. It's the part that is the intuition. It's the part that has that knowingness about it. I know about that freeway that you're talking about, Kelley. Like I get senses. I get not only that little voice, but I just feel something sometimes in my gut, but something around me is sensing, like, change lanes, slow down, pay attention.
Yeah. And I listen to it. I mean, whether it's a combination sometimes of our higher self and spirit guides and angels, right? So I believe that they all kind of work hand in hand, and if we're open, we're able to receive that information. I call it downloads, right?
Yeah.
But I always say, like, I personally don't see the future, but spirit definitely sees what's going to be happening next, and I trust them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I get the information from.
So, everyone that's joining us today, we just want to take a moment and say hello to everyone who's joining us today on Seeing Beyond Living Transformed. You're with Cheryl Murphy and Kelley Eckhardt. Please sign up on our newsletters on our websites, mediumkelley.com and mediumcheryl.com as well. We are talking about intuition. How can you trust it? Because I want to say a lot of people doubt their intuition. And really, I feel it's because we're not used to using it, right? So your intuition is like a muscle, like a bicep, your muscles on your body. You have the intuition, whether you choose to develop it, just like you would a muscle, your biceps. If you want to go to the gym, you're going to develop that muscle,
Right.
just like your intuition. You want
Yes.
to practice, 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 and learn to develop it. And I believe when you learn to develop it, you're just naturally going to start trusting it more.
And aren't we all intuitive? I believe we are. I believe it's a natural instinct, but for some reason it's been lost in our society. That's
Yeah,
what
we've
I
kinda
believe.
been conditioned out of it, or
Mhm.
the doubt has been more, maybe it's, but
Through TV, through school,
yes,
through, parents' reactions because of the society reactions. And so it's something that sometimes we have, but we've lost. But
right,
it's still there. It's
right.
something we can still draw upon, we can build upon, we can grow it, and we can, really make it something that I feel is helpful in your everyday life.
I agree. I think intuition, we would be more clear about our communication with each
Mhm.
other if we used our intuition. We would be more certain of where we were going in life rather than having doubts or second guessing ourselves.
Mhm.
Intuition is more of a knowing, and it's
Knowing,
really
yes.
positive uh, feedback in your life.
Yeah.
It's only
Yeah.
intuition is only there to support you, right?
Guide you and love
Guide
you.
you. What did you say?
And love you.
Love you. Yes, your
Yeah.
intuition loves you. Oh, it's so informative because it's not out to take something from you. If anything, when you develop your intuition, you're adding to your life, right? You're
Mhm.
adding that superpower into your spiritual tool belt, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we learned so much in school. Like we learned to play this. They teach them the recorder, they teach them about music, they teach them about poetry. Why do we not teach our children about mindfulness and about intuition and really knowing ourselves? That would be more important, I think, than anything else that they're teaching in school when they're young. I really feel like those things are the most important, you
And
know?
when you teach the meditation in school, or
Yes.
then people have more confidence. Children have more confidence.
They know how to resolve things. They know how to work through things because they're learning these skills.
And maybe their self-esteem is greater too,
Mhm.
right? Because
Right?
they're just more sure of, they have more trust within themselves rather than looking
Exactly.
outside for the answers. They can start to rely on themselves more, be more self-reliant.
I know as a child growing up in a dysfunctional family, I was always very intuitive and I had a lot of trust in that, but I also felt the need to control the situation because I didn't have control in my household, right? I didn't have a voice, I didn't have those things. And that really messed me up with my intuition in my teens and as a young adult. And
Mhm.
so I always think, if you have somebody in your family that's intuitive and perhaps they're in a dysfunctional family, it never hurts to give them a good mindfulness book or even just to sit down and talk to them from a different perspective about life. Because I would have been open to that. And I was open to that as a child. If somebody had really shown me that way, I would have followed it, you know?
And kids are so smart, these days, or maybe
Hmm.
we were that smart when we were younger too. But kids these days, they're being born with that higher knowing. They're coming through at a higher
Oh,
awareness,
yeah.
higher realization. So And
smarter than us,
they are
everything.
more mature, they're just more enlightened at a younger age
Things are
because
changing. Yeah,
yeah,
things are changing.
things are changing. And so when we talk about intuition, we talk about, how do you trust your intuition? What are some ways, some techniques, some methods that we can share with our listeners to help them learn that, yes, that is your intuition talking to you.
So, do you hear that sound?
It could be the ice cream truck outside our
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm like, it sounds like an ice cream truck. I was like, am I the only one hearing this? That was awesome. I thought I was hearing things. I was like, oh, this is like memories of childhood. I used to love the ice cream truck, right?
your intuition sounds like an ice cream truck, Kelley. That would be fun, right?
That would be, right? I was like, where's the ice cream? Um, sorry, that really sidetracked me. I
That's
forgot what I was even saying, but thanks, Cheryl. I needed that laugh.
We need a laugh. We need to laugh, and laughing
Yeah.
raises your vibration,
Yes,
number
it
one.
does.
So we always need to laugh. But many of you have heard trust your gut, right? Trust your gut, as Kelley mentioned. And a lot of us really, I gotta say, we have to practice being grounded. You want to practice being in your body with your feet on Mother Earth. You want to be in the body so you can feel with your stomach, where you can
Mhm.
sense, if you want to, you can even put your hand over your stomach right now and, just sense that. And you might even say to yourself, uh, my name is Cheryl, and feel what that feels like. My name is Bob. No, that doesn't feel right. What does that feel? No, because my name's not Bob. My name is Cheryl. Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, that feels better. So once again, you can practice that way.
One of my favorite things to do when I'm having a hard time making a decision and I'm trying to follow my intuition, but of course your head gets involved because we're human, right? So I got this game from Allison, our friend Allison Gannon, and I like to write my two decisions on a piece of paper and then I crumble them up, and I don't know which is which. I mix them up, right? And I pretend like option number, A, I'm going to pretend like I'm eating it. I'm not really going to eat the paper, but I'm putting it in my mouth like imaginarily. I'm not really putting the paper in my mouth, and I'm chewing it up and I'm trying to swallow it. And then I do the same with the other option. One of them is going to be easy to swallow and one's not. That's our intuition. And it works every time. It's so accurate.
That's a
Have you
great
ever tried that
exercise.
one?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
I love it. I use it all the time and it works for me. It has a lot to do with your intuition, as well as there's that muscle testing that people do because it's similar to that. You can't swallow it. It's like your soul knows it's not the right choice.
It is. It's your soul. It's your
Mhm.
subconscious. It's the part of you
Yes.
that's looking out for you.
Hmm.
An exercise that I offer on my website, when you go to my website and you sign up for my 5 top tools to ignite your psychic and mediumistic abilities, one of my tools is the yes and no open door technique. So if you can visualize that there are 2 doors in front of you, one says yes and one says no, and then you ask yourself the question, is my name Cheryl? Maybe that's the decision. And then
Hmm.
if I can push through the yes door, then the answer is yes. And if I go to the no door and I can't really open it, then of course the answer is no. So it's a very good way. Also, it sounds a lot like what you're describing.
It is very similar because
Just Yeah, it's just another tool to add to your tool belt, and
mhm.
exercise. So you can actually, everyone can practice with both exercises.
And there's fun games you can do
Games,
that
yeah.
are psychic games, things like, so if you're with a group of friends, but you don't know all your friends' friends and they don't know all your friends, this is one of my favorite games to play. So somebody gives me a name and I don't know, it's their friend, they know all about them, and I tune into that name, but I have to hear them say the name, because there's a vibration in the way that they say it that I can tune into the vibration of that soul. And it's actually not as hard as you think. I get people that have never done this work and they're so accurate and it blows their mind away. You just tune into that name and you say everything you feel about that person and what they're like. And you're like describing your best friend, it feels like, but you don't know this person, and see how accurate you are. Um, it's pretty awesome. I feel like everybody can do that, and I've had everybody do that. Everyone I get to try does it.
I love
It
it.
works for them. And you can go into a restaurants,
Uh-huh.
and if you're with your friends, and you can play like guess what the waitress's name is going to be. If she doesn't have a name tag,
Hmm. I like.
and and then you can kind of guess about her personality and not let her know that you're reading her, but
Mhm.
ask her questions, and see if they match up with what you felt.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that one's from Allison.
Okay, okay. And so for everyone typing in our comment box right now, our comments, how do you use your intuition in a day to day? Do you use it daily? Do you use it when you have to make major decisions? Do you trust your intuition? And how do you practice it? Like someone is saying, Facebook user is saying, when my intuition hits, I always get chills and goodies up and down my whole body, like goosebumps or angel bumps, as they call it.
I get that. I call them warm fuzzies, or it's like a tingling down from the neck down and through my spine. And there's different energy signatures sometimes when it's spirit. Like my dad is a cool breeze that goes right through my heart, and my son is warm fuzzies that goes down my shoulders and into my hands. So
Nice.
they have signatures. And if you're paying attention and you're aware, you're going to recognize them. This is my own inner guidance. This is my grandma. This is my son. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You'll get to recognize the difference if you're paying attention.
Can you put
Mm,
up Marie's question? Uh,
yes,
Beck, like, she says, "Happy day, Kelly and Cheryl. I have an urge to write, but my mind says it's crazy or a pipe dream. How do you know what to trust?"
that's your inner voice. You got to shut it up. You got to tell her, be quiet and name her and say only positive things. If I want to write, I'm supposed to write. If you have an urge, that's your gut telling you, like, we need you to do this. So that you've got something to say and you just don't know it yet. You're probably going to channel this beautiful thing, message, book, something. You should go with it.
I love the question, Marie, because it's the perfect example of what intuition is and what it's not. So intuition is the urge, but
Oh, good. Yes.
the mind or the ego is saying it's crazy or a pipe dream. So
Mhm.
your ego is the doubtful voice, okay? But the urge, that's the gut, the intuition saying, I'm being inspired to write. I feel this urge. I feel like I'm being nudged. That is your
Trust
higher
it.
calling talking. Okay. So
Trust
you
it.
really help beautifully describe and help show everyone that anytime you get a negative or a doubt or you question it, that's not your intuition. Your intuition is the part that's saying, try, go
It's
for
not
it,
the mind. It's not the mind.
not the
The
mind.
mind gets in the way. I
Thanks.
always say you want to be mindless.
Yeah, you want to be
But you
mindless.
do. Yeah, you want to be mindful but mindless.
Put your mind on a shelf or give it a lunch break.
Mhm.
And really, you might even schedule some time to meditate and let your intuition, invite your intuition in and ask it that question about writing, Marie. That might help you too. And that way, anything that's pure, positive, supportive, loving energy, that is intuition.
Meditation sometimes helps bring clarity.
Mhm.
If you're good at it, even if you're not, try a 5-minute meditation. And then when your mind's clear and you feel refreshed, then sit down and try to write and see what happens. It might just flow out of you and you can't stop it.
Intuition, it's very powerful and it certainly comes to, like we said earlier, even to protect you, for example, of in the traffic or, I remember I was going over a mountainside and I felt that there was an ambulance, my intuition, I felt like it was time to slow down. And, it's almost like you break before you really realize, oh my God, I'm so glad I slowed the car down because it's that extra sense, as we mentioned. It is
Mhm.
something that's natural and everyone has it.
We're born with it. Yeah.
Everyone has it. We're all born with it. It's part of your spiritual being birthright.
I would say like 50% of my psychic readings, they're just coming to get validation of what they already know because they're so intuitive. And I did the same thing for years before I decided to follow this path.
Mhm.
I would go to see a psychic probably every 6 months just to get validation of what I already knew. because I was intuitive and I've had this gift my whole life. But of course, my little inner voice is like, oh no, that's crazy. You're not a psychic medium. You're just, good at guessing things, right? I wasn't trusting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, when you go to see a psychic, you probably got your own gift a lot of times, I think.
Yeah. I know that when I have a decision to make, so to speak, between two ideas, I always go with whatever it is before the thought comes in, as I said, because as soon as that thinking comes in, I switch. I'm like, oh no, I'm going to go from A to B. I'm going to pick B now. I'll pick B. It's like, no, it was A the whole time. It's almost as if you trust the quiet voice that you hear before and you realize thoughts are actually pretty loud in your brain. When you have a thought, it's pretty loud, it's pretty firm, but it's not that. It's the quietness.
Right. So, and Ariel says, I've been trusting my intuition since I was younger. It's like a full body chill, and I physically feel like it's the right move to make. I get the same thing. Sometimes I do something and it makes absolutely no sense, but I just feel it. And my husband's the same way. And I love that about him. He just like has a feeling and he goes with it. It makes no sense. And I always say, because him and I follow our intuition, we've been so blessed, with great opportunities that fall into our lap because we're open to it. And I think that if more people did that, it would be a better world.
We would live up to more of maybe our full potential, or we would step more into our power because we are following our intuition, which is that higher guidance system. So this is really incredible, this conversation that we're having today. Yeah.
Yes.
I want to thank everyone for being with us today. I just saw some people coming in, Courtney and Ariel. Marie, once again, thank you for being with us today. Many more of you are here. We are talking about intuition. How do you develop it? What keeps you, what blocks your intuition too, right? So what blocks it? How do you develop it? And so we'd love to hear your feedback if you want to type in the comments section, or you can send us a question or comment to our email, which is questions@seeingbeyondradio.com.
And with you, I feel like each person has their own blocks, and with me, I think I'm very analytical and I was very mathematical growing up, but I still knew that it was such a strong connection I had with the spirit world and with my angels. Like always, I knew that was real, but I also felt like ashamed, like I couldn't tell anybody. And I couldn't always like say why I knew things, so there was like a shame on it kind of.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that, had me doubting myself mainly as a young adult and into my 20s. And I made a lot of, I would say, tragic mistakes in my life because I wasn't following my gut. I wasn't following my true self. And it wasn't until I think I decided to like go back to the bear and listen to like what I felt that my life changed. And that was around 32, 31.
And I love what you're describing, because intuition comes and goes sometimes. So it's really important for all of us to understand and not be hard on yourself. Don't, if we all have doubts, we all are humans, and we all don't get it right all the time. Let's just admit that right out the bat. But it's also okay to have fun with it. It's okay to play with it. If you're watching a quiz show, for example, and you're guessing the multiple choice, see if you can't intuit it, and see if that's the right answer that comes on the quiz show, or, guessing your, the total of your grocery bill or something, or a ballpark figure, that type of feeling of knowing. And you can even ask your guides or ask your angels for confirmation or for signs, just that to know that, you are working it, you are trusting your intuition more. A lot of us also can use affirmations, are very helpful. Affirmations Kelley and I are big believers in affirmations.
Yes. I'm not just a believer. Like, to me, it's really been something that sort of saved my life all my life, because I've naturally had my affirmations since I was born. I mean, I've naturally just said positive things or stayed on the positive track and always known that things were going to be okay and trusted that. So I feel like that saved my life in many ways.
A great affirmation for everyone is, my intuition is stronger every day, or my intuition, I'm more in touch with my intuition. My intuition is developing. It's easy for me to be intuitive. How's that? My intuition is fun and easy every day. I use it effortlessly. I'm
Hmm.
I'm becoming more confident using my intuition, or I'm
I,
stepping into more of my intuitive power.
I'm an intuitive goddess. That's my
I'm an
favorite.
intuitive goddess. That's a good one. I've never used that one. I like it. I like the goddess part.
I don't know. I'll take goddess anytime I can. I got to throw it out there, you know.
Can we
um,
put Ariel's?
yeah,
Can
right
you?
here. When I do my photography, I can easily say to myself, this looks dumb. But then I think back to the moment and remember that it felt right and I was excited. And honestly, who gives a shit? I
Uh,
like that. I
yeah,
like that.
I love it.
Yep. And, and then this one here, she wrote, in this past year, I've stepped more into my power and strength while practicing stillness. I still need to practice it daily, but I'm so blessed to be guided and surrounded with love and support. And I agree. They're if we allow it and we focus on the positive things, we're going to attract more of that and we're going to have a stronger connection with our higher self, our soul family, our guides, our angels, all of that. I strongly believe that. I get even doing this stuff for work as like for a living, I get sometimes a little bit lost and I have to recenter myself and come back. You know? I mean, we all do. We're human. It's part of the journey.
And the journey is to experience life. We're here to experience life, and
Make
you know,
mistakes.
try it. If you have never tried following your intuition, it's really about, once again, being grounded in the body and sensing. So you are experiencing does it feel better to turn right or turn left? Or if you have a choice to go to lunch later in the day or earlier in the day, which do you feel like doing? What are you sensing, right? If you have a choice of going to even two different movies that you really, really want to see, you can just say, how do I feel about it?
Hmm.
Once again, it's always like this communication, isn't it? It's self-communication.
Yeah, yes, it is. And it's trusting and allowing the process and knowing that, you know what, it's okay to make mistakes because
Mhm.
that's part of the process, it's part of growth. If we don't make any mistakes and we just do everything perfect, we're not growing. We're stuck.
Yeah,
Honestly. So I always think that even if something didn't work out like I intuitively thought, it was still supposed to happen that way as part of my journey.
that's
It
so
wasn't supposed to be easy.
That's right. The spirit world and our higher guidance system is teaching us all the time, even if the answer is no, or even if we get it wrong, so to speak. That is a lesson also, and it's really about following love, following your heart. Joseph Campbell would say, "Follow your bliss."
Mhm.
Follow the path that of least resistance. How's that? That could be intuition as well.
Yes. And I love this. Cheers to making mistakes and learning and growing.
Right.
I'm a strong believer that if you're not making mistakes, you're not learning and you're not growing.
Truly, truly.
I've
If you're not,
always felt that.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you're not
I used to
failing.
be a
Yeah.
perfectionist. Yeah, and I had to get over it.
Mhm.
You
Uh,
had to get over it.
so intuition can, if you don't work with intuition a whole lot, maybe we invite you, Kelly and I invite you to start with 2023. We're in a new year. Start with entertaining the idea that you are intuitive and just invite
Mhm.
it to be more of a part of your life.
Yes.
Invite it to come, invite the opportunity to be more intuitive in your life.
And do you think, Cheryl, that sometimes our intuition can manifest in things in our body? Like I used to get stomach aches when
Hmm.
I wasn't following my intuition, and I'd get a stomach ache.
Oh,
You know, um, Or I would get cold sweats when I didn't want to do something that I felt was wrong, but it was like I was ignoring it and doing it anyways. And
Yeah.
then I get like this, like
Yeah.
almost like suddenly get sick.
Yeah. When you feel stuck, when you feel stuck,
Mhm.
maybe you're not all the time, but maybe you're not following your intuition. So
Yeah.
really, it is to know that it's to know that you are intuitive, and your ability to use your intuition is really through practice and practice and practice.
Well, I mean, I think sometimes too, some people are, just like in singing and all of that, like we can all sing, right? But some people are just born with like such a strong intuitive side or such a strong connection too. So some people, it might just be like, it just comes natural, like it's just there. And other people have to work a little bit harder, but they can do it.
Right.
What do you think? Am I like, do you agree with that? I don't
I
know.
do agree with that, because some people have been either raised or brought up, or like you said, they're just more open. Maybe they've, lived in a very nature environment where there's such a high
Mhm.
vibration, perhaps, and they're just naturally more intuitive. So I totally believe in that. Absolutely. Where others maybe have been, maybe we've just been around so much doubt and question ourselves so much, it's maybe not as open as we'd like it to be.
And there's like this theory that a lot of mediums and psychics have had like a traumatic life. And I don't know, what do you think about that? Like the trauma kind of is part of the journey and helps with the gift?
Yes, well, everything is holy. So everything is holy, and everything, there's an opportunity for everything, for forgiveness. There's an
Mhm.
opportunity to heal. Uh, I always say that, intuition. So you develop your intuition, right? You're developing your intuitive abilities by trusting your gut, being grounded, listening to that inner voice, and from there you are developing your clairs, your clair senses, the clairvoyance,
Mhm.
clairaudience, cognizance, clairsent. From there, you're developing the clairs. From there, you're developing your psychic abilities, your mediumship abilities. And it is about trusting. It's always comes down to trusting.
And
Trauma gives a different view. Absolutely.
yeah, it does. And I have to say, I would say, throughout the year, I feel like I've changed my perspective or my view on things. I've grown.
Mhm.
What I believed before, which was a limiting belief perhaps, I've opened up to now, like maybe it was too limiting and there's more than I know. And I think that's part of growing and learning as well and evolving. And that's part of our intuition as well, I think. It's really the more we surrender, the more knowledge I believe we attain.
I agree. The more open we are, when we surrender, we open ourselves up to new ideas and new opportunities and surprising ways. Our imagination
Mhm.
may open up because we're ready for something new in our lives. We're ready to step into a
Yeah.
newer vibration, a newer world. I love it.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I don't know about you, Cheryl, but water really triggers my intuition.
Does it?
Yeah, it being near water, in water, around water, the sound of water, it just takes me right there. So
Well,
I
that's
think everybody has their own triggers, but that's mine.
well, I love water as a symbol. So I'm always telling people, in my healing prayer circles and people who watch me, on social media, drink water, drink an extra glass or two of
I
water
I
every
do. It's so important. I
day.
drink so much
Yes.
water.
And but water's symbolic for uh, emotions. So if you have dreams of water in your dreams, the
Mhm.
ocean, the river, the faucet, water is about emotions. Also, water has been used in ceremony and rituals.
Mhm.
When you go to christen someone, or you're going for a
Mhm.
purification or a cleansing, but all of these elements, water, earth, air, and fire,
Yes.
always means something. So I'm so happy that you're sharing that with people, because maybe if we all were hydrated, our intuition
Mhm.
would help our intuition. How's that?
It's true. I believe you're right. Whenever I'm sick, I know I have to drink a ton of water because I actually visualize drinking the water and it flushing the sickness out of my body. And I'm typically not sick as long as everybody else in the family, but I down the water. I
Yeah.
just feel like water has so many benefits to our health. and our intuition and all of that. So I just trust it all.
So many healing properties with water.
Yeah.
Well, I love it.
I have a little alfalfa I just saw. So
I saw that.
trying to fix that little alfalfa there, guys.
I almost called you alfalfa dog.
I know, it was sticking straight.
I'm just kidding.
That's my
It was your
hair.
intuition antenna.
Yeah, it's my antenna. It's standing up. Oh my gosh.
So everyone, how are you feeling? How is everyone feeling? Are you feeling more intuitive? Are you feeling that maybe you're going to incorporate more intuition into your life? Maybe you're going to trust yourself more. And that really is about intuition. When we trust ourselves, when we step into that belief, that possibility through affirmations, through not being hard on ourselves, that you know what, you can do it. You can do it. Your intuition is wide open, just waiting to offer you guidance, support, love. Stepping into that energy is so beautiful. And it really is about trusting yourself and stepping into that vibration of love and
Right?
surrender. Yeah.
Right. So Erin here said, she wrote a little bit here. I have recently been getting actual words in the morning. I had heard in my mind the word dyskinesia. Did I say that right?
Yes.
I said, what is that? So I Googled it. And it's weird. The night before, I said to myself, why does my body twitch unexpectedly at times? And that is what dyskinesia is. Crazy, right? No,
Oh,
it's not crazy. That's your higher self knowing what's wrong. I believe that we can heal ourselves if we listen to our higher self and to our body. And we're so caught up in all the noise in our world that sometimes we don't hear ourselves. And
mhm.
I think that's why we have such a health problem in the US compared to some of the other countries.
And I love it that Erin, that you mentioned, and thank you for letting us know, Erin, about the word that you heard, but you heard it in the morning. And usually in the morning when we're awaking from the wake state, we're still in an altered state. So
Yeah.
we're not really so much in our ego yet, or our left brain. And so you had that opening to where the answers just slipped in.
Yes. And I love that. Don't you?
Yeah. They
I
just
get so much clarification like right when I wake up. Yes.
dropped in. So I love it.
Here's a question for us, Cheryl.
All
If
right.
you keep seeing owls, does that animal carry a specific meaning? I have been seeing them up close. Well, yeah, I think there's a reason you keep seeing them. And it must be, I always look up spirit animal. And I'm going to put animal owl, and I'll tell you what I get. I mean, I Google everything because I love that. But I also tune into it. I mean, owls are wise. Owls are smart. They're bringing you wisdom. It's of a deep connection with wisdom and intuitive knowledge. So it's also could be a push from your guides trying to like get you to listen to your intuition more. So you got to look at those things. What do
And
you think, Cheryl?
yeah, Christine, you may have owl on your totem pole, so to speak, or you may
Yeah,
have owl energy as a guide for you right now. Maybe you're asking a
needing it.
certain question in your life right now, or maybe you're struggling with something and the owl is coming to you. This is owl medicine, owl energy coming to you to play a role for you and helping you find the answers. So maybe it's confirmation that you have chosen wisely, or maybe it's about being quiet and being able to see things in the dark, because yes, owls can, see in the dark, so to speak. So maybe you're bringing light to a
See through things.
situation. So it's a owl energy. And I was just saying that earlier today, so many people are having owls. They're seeing, I mean, it's like owls everywhere.
Right? I always get Black Panthers
I
or
love
like the black, I have a lot of meditations where I become the Black Panther and I see through its eyes and I'm running.
I
And
love
like things are just flying by me and it's amazing. Like I'm running through and I don't know why this always happens to be meditations. I am this jaguar, I think they're called, and I'm running through different timelines.
Uh-huh.
And there's like lives that I've seen. And I love that.
I love that.
I don't know. I just feel like when I have that meditation, I feel like it's just sort of my higher self reminding me of all that I've been through and all the different lives, and that I have that within my DNA and it's part of me, and to remember that.
Yes, yes, I love it. I love that. And I love your imagination, Kelly. And that reminds me of something else is, to really get your intuition flowing, if you're feeling stuck, for anyone that's listening, a great way to open up your intuition is to open up your imagination. So maybe step out of your comfort zone, or see a funny movie or a scary movie or a Disney movie, or read a book or a magazine. Read something you're not used to reading or looking at or experiencing. uh, you know, uh, Try something different. How's that? And that opens up your imagination to where your intuition can kind of be more in a free flow. It's more of a spontaneous free flow.
You know, she heard one the other night. So as a child, this was our calling, like in the neighborhood with my brothers, and it took me forever to learn this. So I'm really proud of this. You guys all get to see me do this. It's an owl sound, and this is how we communicate in the neighborhood when we were little kids. Right. That's my owl sound.
Well, it's great. It's great. It was very good because I used to have owls outside my door. It's like, I did not sound like an owl,
I
Kelly.
know, and they answer me sometimes when they're out there. But that was how my brothers and I would communicate when we were like around the neighborhood. We'd call each other with the owl call, and
Oh,
I couldn't be part of the. I couldn't hang out with the boys until I figured that out.
oh,
I was like 6 when I figured it out because I wanted to hang out with the big boys.
I
They were
love,
7 and 8, yeah.
I love
But
it.
I'll never forget that.
Michelle is saying Disney's Fantasia is awesome. Yes,
Oh yes.
anything that is magical or imaginative, that whether you like a lot of color. That's why I think of Disney movies, and they're very creative. But really, any movie that's creative, that you enjoy, something that helps open up your ideas.
Even taking a creative writing class or a creative drawing class or a painting, and or go to one of those wine and painting classes and just let loose and have fun.
Mhm.
It bringing out your creativity really helps you with your intuition, believe it or not. It does. It's so amazing. It's like you're practicing your intuition with your creative side. You're
Yes.
you're you're trusting and you're letting go. That's why.
Yeah. And eagle energy, some of our listeners say they have seeing eagles, which is another really powerful animal. Because, well, all animals are powerful. First off, there's no bad animal. Even the snake or the spider or the anything that you're afraid of, like a snake or a spider or a mouse, those are very powerful animals. The snake represents transmutation, just for example. But here, the eagle for Courtney, the eagle is about like having that eagle eye, or having that keen sense of
Mhm.
being able to see things, the bigger picture, right? Because eagles are very high and they're always looking very far down. So, really, and it is about being very high vibration, right? I mean, just the way we represent the eagle in our country is very high vibration.
She says spiders are good luck.
I
I
believe
don't know if I agree, but I'll go with that. I'm not a spider fan,
it.
but I had this one time. I was having a dream, and this wasn't that long ago. I was in bed and I had just dozed off. It was like 11 o'clock, and when I opened up my eyes, I was sleep dreaming. There were
Uh-huh.
spiders everywhere and they were crawling all over me. And I jumped up out of bed, and my husband was watching TV, and I'm screaming, "There's spiders everywhere! They're everywhere!" And he's looking at me like I was crazy. So I don't think me and spiders are friends. Yeah, that was bad. I literally, though, I saw them with my eyes, but I was awake, but I was asleep. Have you ever had that happen?
I have had that happen.
It's only happened one time, and it was
It's
frightening.
it's happening more, I have to say.
As you get older, maybe, huh? Or
As I get
hormones.
older, as I get more used to connecting in my dream state, or
Yes.
it's like we're in an altered state a lot in the work we do. And so anyway, Karen says that she's very drawn to wolves, and I love wolves. I mean, I love all the animals, but wolves, they hang out in a pack. So meaning that they're very much like a team player, or they nurture, they care for their own, they work in a team effort. So yeah,
And they have such like old souls.
they are old souls.
They
Wolves
are. And
are
you
cool.
look in their eyes, and there's just so much in there. I mean, it's
Beautiful.
some. And honestly, I really feel like they're beautiful animals.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're just beautiful.
They are, and it's a shame when I always hear sometimes they're going extinct, and then we bring them back. And
Hmm.
let's see. So yeah, we're talking about intuition today. We're on to animals and animals being intuitive guides for us, or using our intuition. What does Aaron say?
I'm trying to read that. Let me put it up
That is so
here.
cool. On my drive to families at Thanksgiving, eagle wit a snake in its
Oh,
talons flew low over my car, and I definitely knew it was a message. Yes.
oh, that is amazing. Yes, that's a message. That's rare to see. They come in the craziest ways. Can I just share? I just went with my husband to work this week,
Uh-huh.
and our air flight last night, we caught the last flight out because our dog was sick yesterday. We had to make sure she was okay before we left. So we got the last flight out at like 9:40 last night, and it was flight 5555.
Oh,
Then we check into the hotel and I'm room 19111. So I was like, those are signs.
they
When
are
they're so
signs.
blatant in your face, that's a sign. An
Those
eagle
are
with a
signs.
snake.
Those
Yeah.
are signs.
Numbers are signs. Eagles with snakes in their mouth, that's a sign. Anything that is significant like that, that's rare, is a sign.
Yeah.
Um, what's this? When you conduct a psychic session, do you receive intuitively or through your mind? Thanks. Well, I guess it's kind of both. For me, at least, I feel and I can feel into that person's soul and throughout their whole body. I can feel things that are going on, and I can feel into their past, and where their mindset is at this moment, which helps me identify like what path they're on. I also see things for them that just, and I often think when I see things and have the clairvoyance, for me, I believe it's spirit chiming in and giving me visuals to help me out on my psychic reading, because when I see things, I often then will feel a loved one in spirit or a guide. What about you, Cheryl?
Yeah, I would agree, but I believe it's probably more intuitively, because I would use my intuition, meaning I would use my intuitive clairvoyance, my intuitive clairaudience.
Hmm.
Yes, the mind, but not so much the mind. I would
Right.
have to say we probably would bring them into balance,
Hmm.
or because we do have to be able to communicate what we're saying, and that's why the mind would come in, would be to help us communicate what we're getting. But really it's about the clairvoyance, the connecting on that higher plane. Like Kelley said, we're always asking for the highest good to come through, for it to be
Hmm.
healing, and working with your guides and your angels.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to put it into words the way it
Yeah,
happens.
it is.
But I mean, it's nice to think about it because I don't think, like I always say I want to be mindless. That's my big saying. Like, I might be looking at you and seeing you, but I'm not really with you. I'm in the spirit world, or I'm in my higher self, and I'm focusing on giving what I'm getting. So if you're saying things, or I've trained my mind to listen to certain words.
Right, right. When people, like when we do our readings, we turn up the volume on our senses,
Hmm.
on all of our senses, all of our clairs. We turn that radio dial to high volume.
And I don't know about you, Cheryl, but I I am clairaudient, but it's not very clear for me.
Mm,
But when I'm doing psychic work, it's super clear
mm.
and super loud. So I get a lot of clairaudient psychically. I hear things. And it's so clear, but for some reason, it's not like that with spirit for me. But I know, we're all different. I'm curious. I've seen you work, and I feel like you're very clairaudient at times.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking that too. I'm thinking, yeah, when I'm clairaudient working with spirit, it's pretty clear, or it's pretty loud. It can be
Mhm.
loud.
Mine's garbled with spirit,
Yeah.
almost like when I'm underwater and
Haha.
someone's talking to you and you're under the water. You can hear them talking, but you can't quite make out what it is.
Mm,
That's what happens to me with spirit, but psychically, it's super clear.
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those mysteries I'm working on, but yeah.
I
Let's
wonder
see
if
what.
you have one psychic ear and one mediumship ear or something. I'm
Oh, I wonder if that's true.
wondering what ear they come to you
Well,
psychic.
I'm deaf in this ear, I've considered partially deaf in this year, and I have a hearing loss, so that's why I like to wear the headphones. Because as a child, my brother put firecrackers in my ears and damaged my eardrums. So what I have is what's considered what happens to people when they hit their 70s. I've had it my whole life though, where you don't hear the hard sounds, you hear the middle. So like for words like Jim or Kim, all I hear is M. I don't hear the J or the K. And so I have to piece it together. And if I'm not looking somebody in the face, I can't always hear what they're saying. And so I do think, which it shouldn't, right? But I do think that psychologically, I let it affect my mediumship readings.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't affect my psychic readings. They yell at me with psychic.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something I noticed. It's interesting, I thought.
It is interesting. And the more you notice how your mediumship and psychic abilities work for you, the more you can develop everything that you want to. Like, they may come through us more clairaudiently right now, but then in the future, that may shift. They may come through more claircognizantly or more clairvoyantly. So you always have to be open to changing. The spirit world is helping you in all different types of ways.
Yes. And Cheryl, I just wanted to bring up, I know you have some exciting events coming up with Suzanne Northrup and who else?
Thank you, Kelley.
I'm excited for you.
So everyone, I just want to invite you. Suzanne Northrup and I are doing an event online February 9th. It's on Thursday, the 9th of February. You can get tickets through my website or through Suzanne's. But she and I are doing mediumship readings and psychic readings that evening. So that's going to be really fun. So I invite you, because working with Suzanne's a lot of fun. If you haven't worked with her before or seen her work, it's worthwhile. She's been around for a while. She has several books out. And so please join us February 9th. And then February 23rd, I am doing my Circle of Love small group reading event. That's where me and 8 people at the max are going to sit and everyone gets a reading, right? So I'm doing psychic mediumship readings for everyone. And this is online too. And I do that monthly, my Circle of Love small group events. So I love doing that. That's February. And then March is there's other stuff coming in, but I always want to invite you to my Sunday night healing prayer circle. If you've never been, it's free to join. Every Sunday night, for about 30 to 40 minutes, we do a prayer, meditation, really sit in the beautiful energy. Yeah. That's free to join on my website. Yeah. Thanks, Kelley. Yeah. I love it.
I do. I'm jealous. I wish I had that beautiful voice like Cheryl to do meditations. Wow, she takes me to another world. Oh. So I love that. Yeah, and that's exciting. And you also teach and do mentorships and all of that, right?
I do. I have a monthly mentorship program, and then I do private mentorship, which a lot of people work with me privately, and I love it because then they work at their own pace. They get to ask me anything they want. So I love that. I love doing mentorships.
That's awesome.
And what about you, Kelley?
Well, I have an event coming up, my small group reading online on February 16th. Okay. And that's an online one. I might still have a couple tickets left. Great. I'm not sure. And then I'm doing an event with Thomas John in Sacramento, but that's live and in person. And I don't know if we're sold out, but I think we're sold out. But never fear. I have a small group reading that's in person in Sacramento too. And I have my Heavenly Happy Hour, which is in person. And I'm really excited. I haven't announced it yet. But in April, March 31st, I'm doing a DEM with AJ Barrera in Sacramento here. And he's teaching an intuitive investigation course at my Love and Light Center. So for all of my Sacramento people, I'm offering a lot of in-person events and things that are happening. And I'm super excited. And after all of this, now I'm going to start planning with bringing Cheryl to Sacramento, and we'll teach a course and do a DEM together.
I can't wait, Kelley. That's going to be
so that's my next step. I'm on a roll this year. I'm like trying to get everybody.
And then what about your Egypt?
Oh, yes. I'm taking 15 people to Egypt. So if anybody's interested, I don't know if it went out yet. I am announcing it in a newsletter, but hold on.
Yeah. But Kelley is taking a guided tour group. So you'll be with her and a professional tour guide.
Egyptologist. And we're going 11 nights and 12 days We're going to go on a river cruise on the Nile for 2 nights, a 5-star river cruise. We're going to go to all kinds of beautiful, pyramids and temples and everything. Just a lot of amazing things. We're going to go ride a camel into a Nubian village and see how a family lives there and get to really experience their lifestyle. And I'm offering for the first 5 people who pay their deposit to go on this trip a 30-minute free reading. So you can check that out on my website.
I think
And
it's
Brianna posted it right there.
yeah. I think you have an email going out or something. She said goes out at 6.
Yeah, and I'm going to be having what I call an Egypt meeting here soon. I'll be announcing that soon. So if you're interested in the Egypt thing and you want to be part of the meeting, sign up for my newsletter or follow my social media. And all my social media, my handle is at Medium Kelley, Kelley. Yeah.
That's going to be fantastic. And then
I'm
so
excited.
they sign up now, and then the trip is in November. Is that right?
Right.
11/11, you said.
Yes, 11/11 to 11/22. I chose those dates and those numbers. Also, if you sign up now and you're one of the first 5 people, you get the 30-minute reading. We're not going to do the readings until up until August and November before the trip, just before the trip. That way you get kind of a little of intuitive insight or mediumship, whatever it is you want before the trip. Yeah. Or you can save it for after if you want. It's up to you. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great.
I'm super excited. I have an amazing company that I'm working with, and they have like the best reviews, and they were recommended to me by other mediums that have gone with them, and they said it was an amazing trip. So really? I'm very happy.
Oh, yeah. That's wonderful. And I've seen the hotel pictures.
They're great hotels. I'm a bit of a hotel snob.
Yeah.
And so he said, what kind of hotels? And I was like, I only want like 5-star American hotels. I'm sorry, but I went to India and they were not 5-star. I'll just say that, but they were calling them like, but they were not, some were nice, some were okay. I'm real picky. So these are very nice hotels because I put that, and I feel like it's still quite affordable for the quality of the hotels and the events that we're doing and all of the things that we're doing. It's still an affordable price. So I think it's well worth it. I'm excited. I tried to keep the price low.
That's great. That's great. Well, it's so much to look forward to this year, Kelley. I mean, you're able to be in your center more, and that's just great.
I'm excited about that. I'm trying to manifest more, close to home events, but also getting out and about. I want to come to SoCal and do events with you now that COVID's pretty much ended. We've been stuck. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. I think we were planning an event when COVID happened.
So I'm sure we were.
We had to cancel it out at Ohm Gardens or something like that. I might be saying it wrong, but yeah, I want to come to SoCal and do events. I want to go to, different places and do events in person and meet people.
Yeah. That's wonderful. And so I know we're kind of wrapping up here for our time today, but there's just so much to talk about around intuition. And we've had such a great conversation, and everyone has been so giving of their wanting to support with the animals you guys have been seeing and the way you've been working with your intuition. And really, Kelley and I, our goal is to help show you or help share with you what we've learned. And maybe that can be something that you adopt too. It could be a tool in your tool belt as well on your path to developing your intuition.
Yes. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I love doing our show every week. I enjoy our conversations, and I'm really excited because next week we have my favorite person on. Go ahead, say her name.
Lori Albert.
Yep. And we get to talk about all kinds of stuff. So she's a lot of fun. I was supposed to be on vacation. I was supposed to be in Hawaii next week, but unfortunately, my Hawaii trip got postponed till probably like April or May. But I'm not going to complain because I am going. So now I'm in town, and we already had Lori Albert coming on, and now it's going to be the 3 of us. And so I'm super excited.
That'll be great. That'll be great. And we'll see all of you, right? We'll see all of you next Wednesday back here with Seeing Beyond Living Transformed. We'll be taking your calls and your questions. We'll be talking more about intuition and psychic and mediumship and everything else. So thank you so much. And if there are any topics that you would like us to talk about and teach you or share with you, please let us know by sending us an email to questions@seeingbeyondradio.com. Until then, everyone, namaste and have a beautiful, beautiful
Thank you.
day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.